Breaking. There's a proposal on LeBron's desk so wild it could bend the whole season, and the source will make you do a double take. Doors are closed, voices are low, and the timing smells like headlines. If you blink, you'll be the last to know why the next few weeks in LA might get louder than any road arena in April. Lean in. Because here's the promise. We're going to dissect the actual leverage on the table. The basketball fit that matters, the cap logic that doesn't insult your intelligence. The locker room chemistry this would stress test. And the timeline pressure that makes sense of the noise. I'll map what changes for lineups, for pace, for clutch offense, and for the Lakers' identity without spilling the twist until the exact moment. You'll get answers, not fairy tales. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, the spot where purple and gold reality gets filtered through hoop sense, not rumor fumes. If you ride with this franchise through the droughts and the parades, drop a like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We do basketball like grown-ups with a healthy disrespect for lazy takes. Let's set the table. The league is in that stretch where every contender pretends patience is a plan. The West is a snake pit, and the margins are paper thin. The Lakers? They're walking the tightrope between an all-timers window and the future they swear they won't mortgage. Again. That tension is the story, not vibes, not means, not a celebrity row headcount. Context matters. LeBron is a machine with a calendar. Minutes have to be managed. Spacing has to be honest. The supporting cast has to defend at a level that justifies the half-court diet. And when the game turns into a rock fight, late clock, short roll, two to the ball, you need structure, not heroism. The question isn't, can he still do it? It's what's the smartest way to do it, and who signs off? Every road forks in three directions. Stay the course, nuke the course, or draw a brand new map. Stay the course means internal growth, smarter rotations, marginal trades, and a prayer that health plus shooting variance nets you 4 playoff rounds. Nuke the course is the panic button. Big names in, big picks out, and no, the bill doesn't bounce. The new map is where the interesting people live. Zoom into front office reality. Cap sheets don't care about nostalgia, and the new CBA punishes cute. If you're going to go all in, it has to be targeted, not thirsty. Think archetypes? Two-way wings who can survive in space. Bigs who can switch a possession and rebound the price tag. Guards who don't turn crunch time into karaoke. Stack those correctly around no 23 and no 3, and you're a physics problem. Stack them wrong, and you're a podcast topic. There's also the human layer that spreadsheets pretend doesn't exist. Leadership has a voice. Locker rooms can smell indecision. Coaches need clarity to build identities that survive a bad shooting night. Stars don't just score. They bend the priorities of a franchise. And a franchise like the Lakers lives in the paradox. Win now, plan later, but don't get caught faking either one. So who exactly could put a proposal in front of LeBron that actually cuts through the noise? A GM with a ring fetish? A rival with a velvet tampering glove? A sponsor with a yacht and bad ideas? Nah, the one person with absolute leverage over LeBron James is the only one who's never lied to him in a negotiation. LeBron James. Here it is, 10th paragraph. As promised. The big proposal on the table is from LeBron James to LeBron James. A self-authored blueprint to commit to LA on LeBron's terms timeline. Row, roster asks, an off-court alignment. A pact with himself that says, if these basketball boxes get checked, I'll stamp the final act right here in purple and gold. Let's be very clear. This isn't a press release. It's not a handshake, and it's not an extension announcement. It's a concept, a high-leverage framework. Call it the LeBron proposal. Put in writing, even if it's only in his notes app and in the inner circle's heads. What it would take for him to choose the Lakers version of the last great chapter, not as a passenger, but as the author. What's inside that self-proposal? Start with role clarity. Less heliocentric, more surgical. Minutes that load manage the calendar without gaslighting the locker room. Crunch time sets that don't ask him to create air where there's no oxygen. That means reliable spacing, a vertical threat to punish low man help, and a secondary creator who can run a possession without turning the ball into a campfire. Then roster archetypes. 2 long wings who defend actions, not just players. A big who can rebound in traffic and survive a switch for a late clock possession. A guard who can exit a trap with a pass that hits a shooter's chin, not his shoelaces. This isn't Galaxy Brain. It's stop making LeBron solve 5 problems at once. Coaching synergy matters too. Off-ball counters when teams top-lock your shooters. Empty corner pick and rolls to force the low man to choose between the rim and his mentions. Spain actions when defenses overhelp. The self-proposal doesn't dictate plays, but it does demand a system where the map exists before the game gets loud. On-ball load and pace. The older your star, the more you should love early offense freebies. That means defense that fuels transition and lineups that can run without bleeding points. In the half court, quick-hitting sets that end in a decision by the 14-second mark. If a possession becomes a think piece, you're already losing dot cap reality. No fantasy cap gymnastics here. A self-proposal recognizes constraints. We're talking about options, timelines, potential future mechanisms that stay within the rules, not promises that break them. Maybe it's a year-to-year philosophy tied to health, family, and competitiveness. Maybe it's an I'm here, but don't trap us with bad money clause. Spoken like a proverb to the room. Brand and off-court alignment? Of course it's in there. If the basketball product is right, the storytelling writes itself, community impact, media projects that complement the jersey, legacy work that feels earned, not curated. Los Angeles is a city that rewards winning and punishes pretending. You can film content anywhere. You can only ring confetti here. What changes on the floor if the LeBron to LeBrazil gets accepted by LeBron? First, his shot diet gets cleaner. More catch-and-shoot threes in rhythm, fewer contested step-backs birthed from boredom. More mismatches hunted early, fewer possessions where everyone stands like they forgot their lines. The ball moves first, the star decides last. Second. Anthony Davis becomes a constant, not a contingency. The best version of this team is the one where a D is the sun and LeBron is the weather. The sun establishes climate. The weather destroys road trips. That means a D touches early, middle, and late, not as charity, but as a policy. It also means wings that don't flinch at closeouts, and a guard who treats entry passes like LAYUPS. Third, crunch time stops being improv comedy. Preloaded ABC options. If they switch, duck in. If they help, hammer screen weak side. If they ice, flip the angle. LeBron's late-game genius is maximized when the reads exist before the whistle, not when he has to invent them after the trap. Let's talk opponents. The West hierarchy respects 2 things: rim pressure and shooting honesty. The proposal demands a roster that can generate the first and threaten the second. Against switch-heavy teams, you punish small on the glass and chase matchups until someone asks for help. Against drop coverage, you spam pull-ups until the big twitches. Against wingspan zones, you screen the zone, not the clock. There's a defensive clause, too. If you're asking your star to thrive in May, you can't be a turnstile in January. More length at the point of attack reduces emergency help. Fewer emergencies mean fresher legs for the only help that matters. The rotation that turns a layup into a kickout, into a contested 3, into a defensive rebound. The hidden math of winning is made of those boring possessions. Now the part every fan's wallet cares about: risk management. Age curves don't read resumes. Soft tissue injuries don't ask for autographs. The proposal's brilliance is in its humility. It builds a plan that assumes turbulence and still lands the plane. That's why the emphasis is on structure, not slogans. Depth, not drama. There's also a cultural line in bold. The Lakers aren't a nostalgia museum. The jersey's weight is earned every quarter. If the final act is going to be here, the bar has to be here. That means a group that embraces film over filters, role acceptance over TikTok reels, and defensive connectivity that doesn't note the first time a team runs Spain twice in a row. Where does the front office fit? Right in the middle, where the job is thankless. You identify the 2 or 3 realistic acquisitions that meet the proposal's boxes without turning the future into a garage sale. You target players who scale up in playoffs, low usage offense, plug-and-play defense, no allergy to corner threes. You keep dry powder for the deadline without pretending that June will wait for you. Timeline watch? Because calendars win arguments. If this sell proposal is live, you'll see breadcrumbs. Rotations tighten in meaningful ways. Lineups with a purpose get more testing. Messaging from the podium turns from "we'll see" to "we're building." You might even spot the social media breadcrumb, not a cryptic tweet, but a recurring theme about standards, details, and joy. Pros communicate in subtext. What about the nuclear options, trade rumors, scorched earth talk? The proposal doesn't kill those. It starves them. It says, "I'll choose the Lakers as long as the Lakers choose basketball." That's not leverage for chaos. It's leverage for clarity. And clarity is what separates ring run from "we try" eulogies. Let's riff on lineup geometry. The best LeBron minutes feature 2 shooters who are threats, not decorations, and 1 screener with hands. Add a guard who can trigger the weak side quickly, and you'll see the floor widen like a road after construction. Suddenly, the first drive isn't into 3 bodies. The second pass isn't a turnover waiting to happen. And the third option is a layup disguised as a read. Bench units? The proposal's hidden gift is staggered sanity. You don't need to win those minutes by 10. You need to exit them alive. If the subs can post a general positive with defense, rebounds, and 0 love ball turnovers, the starters come back to a game script, not a fire drill. That's how older stars stay lethal without being overcooked. Clutch time is reputation court. Everyone remembers makes. The tape remembers process. The LeBron to LeBron pact will prioritize process. 2 actions before the switch. Slip the screen when they overplay. Hit the short roll to pressure the nail defender. Punish the nail with a 45 cut. Force the help to travel. Beat it with passes that arrive on time, not vibes. Humor break. Because we promised it. No more your turn. My turn possessions that look like a divorced couple deciding who keeps the dog. Basketball is a custody agreement with structure. If your crunch time needs a mediator, you're already toast. Is this all too tidy? Sure, the league exists to punch neat plans in the mouth. But the genius of a self-proposal is that it's built for the punch. It assumes foul trouble, shooting slumps, referee chaos, and the randomness of a ball that wobbles out. It leans on habits, not heroics. Heroes win nights. Habits win springs. Now, does any of this cross the line from theory to fact? As of today, there's no foul stamp, no podium, no stage photo under a giant logo. This is speculation, informed by how stars operate, how the Lakers operate, and how windows close for teams that mistake noise for action. If you came for a fake Roy bomb, you took a wrong exit. If you came for a plan that would actually make sense if it materialized, you're parked. What should you watch next if you're a fan who reads tea leaves without drinking them? Rotational honesty. Who plays with LeBron and why? Pace upticks when he's off the ball. Are we weaponizing the run? Defensive rating with the proposal archetype lineups, length plus shooting. Post-game language. Are we hearing standards or slogans? If 3 of those tilt the right way, the sell proposal might be moving from notes, app to whiteboard. Let's also talk about the weight of legacy without putting it in a glass case. The last chapters of great careers read best when they're written with intent. Kobe had intent. Tim had intent. The ones who drift get remembered for drifting. This, if it's real, is the opposite of drift. It's a declaration that the last act will be authored, not outsourced. And yes, we should respect the obvious counter-arguments. Age is undefeated. The West doesn't care about your biography. One ankle roll in Twitter declares a rebuild. Fine, but risk doesn't cancel ambition. It audits it. The sell proposal survives the audit because it cashes out in principles. Defend. Space. Decide early. Share late. Live with the math. Media circus angle. The only way to mute the circus is to make winning the loudest person in the room. The proposal's media clause is basically produce first, post later. Narratives don't fend off closeouts. Stories don't tag the roll. If you want a docuseries, win series. All right, your turn. If this LeBron the LeBron blueprint were real, what are the 3 non-negotiables you put on it? Name the archetype you'd add at the deadline. Tell me how many minutes you want LeBron at the 4, how often you want a D-screening versus, posting, and what 2 pet actions you'd spam until opponents cry uncle. Hit the comments with specifics, not slogans, not my opinion. Straight up, I like it. If the basketball boxes are real and the people in the room are honest. A self-proposal says legacy on purpose, and Los Angeles is the right stage for that. But I'll underline it in purple and gold. This is speculation. There's no signed paper, no final vow, no public promise. It's a smart idea that would make the Lakers better if everyone treated it like a contract with the truth.